All right, let's go over this real quick because this is a this is a fairly recent discovery for me, this particular passage of the Bible. When I was younger, me and my brothers and my mom, every morning at breakfast, we would read part of the Bible until we got all the way through it. And I think we did that twice, but somehow, we must have just skimmed right over this part because it's in the part of the Bible where they just have all of those laws, and it's the most brutal, excruciating thing to try to read all of that. It is so boring. But anyway, let's see their justification for a passage in the Bible where God tells the man that if his wife was unfaithful and got pregnant from someone else, she should get an abortion. Let's see what their justification is for this, all right? Mr. Alan Schleman. Great man, I'm sure. Though abortion is inconsistent with the Christian worldview, according to Alan, some people point to a Bible passage they believe ordains abortion. Exactly. Numbers. If you've ever tried to read Numbers, you know how painful it is. It's just laws. It's just like, yeah. Because the history is that Moses, and I've heard people say that like Moses didn't exist, but these same people say that like Shakespeare didn't exist, like no one in history existed according to some people. So I don't know if that's true, but whoever the high priests were at the time, I mean, the story of the 10 Commandments. There were a bajillion other commandments, and Numbers it's basically just that. It's just all the commandments for the Jewish people at the time. And most of them are pretty harmless. I mean, they're just dealing with how to kind of facilitate. It's just laws, So anyway, civil issues and stuff like that. But okay, I've talked enough. Let's keep going. If a husband suspects his wife is unfaithful, he's to bring her before a priest, where a ritual takes place to determine her guilt or innocence. The woman takes an oath and drinks bitter water, a concoction of holy water and dust from the tabernacle floor. That is not true. They don't say what the bitter water is. We don't know, but it induces a miscarriage, which is an abortion. So, I mean, I guess you could argue semantics, which this guy might, but it's an abortion. For all intensive purposes. Oh, shit. My air conditioner kicked on and slammed the door. Okay, anyway. If she has made herself impure and been unfaithful to her husband, I'm just thinking of Steven Crowder now. The only way out of this is discipline and respect. This will be the result. When she is made to drink the water that brings a curse and causes bitter suffering, it will enter her, her abdomen will swell, and her womb will miscarry, and she will become a curse. That is horrific, dude. That is horrific. Why would you do that? God, her abdomen will swell. The pain. It's freaking me out. God, it's like a horror movie. That's awful. This procedure employs a providential sign from God to indicate infidelity. Sure, absolutely. Yeah, it'll just magically... If the woman is guilty, her abdomen will swell and her womb will miscarry. A curse that some suggest amounts to an intentional miscarriage. Her womb will miscarry. Some suggest it amounts to an intentional... What do you... Dear Lord. Okay. If so, they claim, this demonstrates that God ordained abortion. Imagine that. Yeah. Yeah. So if the woman is guilty, that struck me. So it's kind of like if the woman is a witch and you throw her in the water, if she is a witch, she will float, right? Oh, but if she is not a witch, she will sink. Or is it vice versa? I don't know, because either way, they fucking die. So this is just, I mean, and also there's no, haven't we all come to the conclusion, don't we all know by now that that was just a scam? It was just a fake rule made up just so that they could kill the woman? So is this person really suggesting that they think that the miscarriage is not from the water, that God is the one who did it, and that sometimes when they drink the water, it doesn't kill their baby? I mean, oh my God. If it's something that can induce a miscarriage, why would you ever be okay with someone drinking that and then the harm that it would do to the baby, even if it didn't miscarry, right? If it's something that can induce a miscarriage and you're suggesting someone drink it, even if it doesn't kill their baby, it's still horrible. Anyway, there are several reasons, however, why they're mistaken, and that the passage probably isn't referring to a type of miscarriage, let alone an abortion. Oh my God. It's not referring to a miscarriage. It literally has the word miscarry. Dude, Alan, what are you doing, man? Come on, man. Alan, wake up, dude. Wake up. First, even if the original Hebrew suggests a miscarriage, the child dies. It still wouldn't support the abortion choice position. What? If a child dies in this scenario, it's because of God's judgment, not a woman's private decision. Exactly. Exactly. It is the opposite of a woman's decision. It is not freedom. It is oppression. It is not autonomy. It is slavery. It is saying that if the woman has committed this heinous sin, then she should be punished by killing her baby. She has no choice in the matter. It is the opposite. He is 100% right there. Even if the passage indicates an intentional miscarriage, it doesn't justify abortion any more than God killing David's son justifies infanticide. Right. Thanks for bringing that up. David, King David, he had authority at the time. He was the king. He abused his authority in such a heinous way. He saw, okay, if you guys don't know this story, it's in the Bible. I kid you not. I read this when I was a kid. It was taught to me when I was a kid. King David was up on a rooftop or something. He was up in a higher place. I assume I don't know how it works. I mean, there's no pictures in the Bible. They didn't have cameras back then, but he was in an elevated position being the king. He looked down on the city and saw a woman bathing on the rooftop. Yikes. It was someone else's husband, one of his soldiers, as a matter of fact, and he didn't care. He said, "Bring the woman to me." So some of his men brought this woman to King David, and he slept with her. By the way, there's nothing in the passage about her anything, how she felt, if she consented, if she was having issues with her husband, and she was like happy this was happening or not. It was basically rape. I think that's the easiest way to read into it, is the fact that he made this woman, as the king, he forced this woman to come have sex with him. And then when she got pregnant, he tried to get the husband to sleep with her so that he would think it was his. But this guy, they were at war at the time, I guess, because he had to leave the battlefield to come back home, and he felt so guilty for leaving his brothers out there that he slept outside of his house. He didn't go inside, and he didn't sleep with his wife. He's a good man. So what did David do? He panicked, and he said, just send him right out into the front of the line, and when there's this crazy battle going on, I want everyone to abandon him to his death. And they did. And the man died. This is an honorable man by all accounts. The respect that he showed his men by not wanting to even go into his house when he was sent back. And then they abandoned him to his death by King David's order. And then what happened? Well, then, the baby was, God killed the baby. As punishment for David's sin, I guess the baby was punished, right? So, God killed David's son, and he felt oh so horrible about that. But that was, I guess, the end of that, and now everyone knows King David as a man after God's own heart. He just made one little itsy-bitsy boo-boo. He was a monster, okay? Can we just say that? King David was a monster. There are other accounts of things that he did in the Bible that are just heinous. And I'm not going to go into it now, but you got to read the book. I got to say, the Bible, as horrific as it is wildly entertaining for just how crazy it is. Especially the Old Testament, like read 1st, 2nd Samuel, and the Chronicles. I think 1st, 2nd Chronicles, those are the stories of King David, and they're nuts. His kids, oh my God, his kids, dude. One of his sons rapes one of his daughters, and then another brother kills that brother in revenge. It's just crazy. It's crazy, man. You got to read it. Anyway, let's get on with this stupid article. So even if the passage indicates an intentional miscarriage, which apparently it doesn't, even though it says miscarriage, it doesn't justify abortion any more than God killing David's son justifies infanticide. Well, it's okay if God does it, I guess, but if anyone else does it, then, God is the author and sustainer of life. If anyone has the right to take life, he does. Woo, that is ominous. In this ritual, there's nothing in the potion itself that can reveal the woman's guilt or innocence. Exactly. No, there isn't. It's just a drought to induce a miscarriage, right? I mean, I think that's a given. Depending on if the priest is feeling merciful at any given day. I mean, I guess he could just mix it if he felt like letting the lady have her baby, he could just not put the stuff in it, because it doesn't say what they put in it. It doesn't say. So it's up to the priest. God, that is so dark. All right, anyway, so in this ritual, there's nothing in the potion itself that can reveal the woman's guilt or innocence. The potion is merely symbolic. The curse comes from God and not any human being. Okay, so it's God killing more babies then. That's great. There's no parallel here with elective abortion. I agree. It's not an elective abortion. It's God killing a woman's baby because she wasn't faithful to her husband. Oh, wow. But does this text even mention miscarriage? Oh, God, I don't know. I mean, we just read it, dude. Come on, man. What is going on? Wow. Wow, I'm flashing back to Sunday school right now. The NIV is one of the few popular translations that renders the passage, her womb will miscarry. Note, though, the NIV is a dynamic equivalent translation that does that, and not a precise word-for-word translation. The NASB, on the other hand, is more precise, rendering the dude, why can't we just go to the original language and figure out what it says in the original? Don't look at different translate. This is awful. This is awful. Her thigh will waste away. The popular ESV, what? Doesn't refer to the NIV's render. What? Okay, so other translations don't say the word miscarriage. The NIV's rendering, therefore, is imprecise. What? If you don't have access to the original language, but we do. We do. I'm going to have to look that up in a second. Oh my God. But look, even if it doesn't say, look, okay, I'll give you that. Even if it doesn't say that it doesn't say miscarry. It doesn't talk about killing a baby. It's still oppression, right? And you're still over here justifying God killing babies. So, I mean, what is your point? That is so funny. The NASB is his go-to translation when doing careful Bible study. What? You know that you can very easily just look up the original language, the original text, the original words, and what they meant in context, right? Like, you don't have to go to a translation of a translation of a translation of a translation like everyone says, right? Is what the Bible is. It's not. You can find the original texts. Well, I mean, the earliest that we like, you know, that's still in those languages. I think maybe it's maybe, you know, 1 or 2 degrees of separation, right? And it's way, way, way closer to the intent. At the very least, you can understand the intent of the people at the time who translated it and the state of their culture and how they viewed women when they were writing something like this, right? Oh boy, I guess we're only halfway down. This is brutal. What then is meant by her thigh will waste away? When the meaning of the original language is ambiguous, it's important to turn to a key interpretive principle. Never read a Bible verse. My brain is shutting down. Never try to understand the meaning of a text in isolation from its context. Read as much as you can before and after the passage in question to help you determine what it means. This poor guy, man. I can't believe this. Like, what? Who? How do you get to a place that you write something like this? In this case, the context indicates an entirely different meaning than what abortion choice advocates suggest. Yes, no, I agree. It's not a choice on the part of the woman. It's not. Like, no one is arguing that. No, I don't think anyone is arguing that the Bible supports a woman's right to choose, but it supports infanticide is what it does, which is not a woman's right to choose, but at the very least, it's so much worse, right? Oh my God. It is. So infanticide is what conservatives think abortion is. So I think the argument is that if you believe abortion is infanticide, then you should know that God advocates for infanticide in certain cases, but only when the woman is to be punished, right? Never when it's her choice or anything. God. Okay. So let's go. If she's defiled herself and look at what the verse immediately following the curse says. If she has defiled herself, you see what I mean? Jesus. If she's defiled herself and has been unfaithful to her husband, then the water which brings a curse will go into her and cause the water which brings a curse. I thought it was God's judgment. Her abdomen will swell, her thigh will waste away, and the woman will become a curse among her people. Ugh. And back then, being barren was a curse. So again, we'll have to look up the original text and everything later, but just as a person who grew up reading all of this, and I have the context, right? I grew up with this. I've read the entire Bible multiple times, and a curse among her people indicates barrenness. So this water will cause her to be barren. She will not be able to have children anymore. It just gets worse and worse. My God, this actually happened to people, people did this. Wow, God, that is horrifying, man. This is awful. But if the woman has not defiled herself and is clean, she will then be free and conceive children. God, you're just rolling the dice if this thing is gonna, what the efficacy of this particular brew is gonna be. Is it gonna fuck your whole life up, or are you gonna squeeze through? Notice how the blessing is contrasted with the curse. If the woman is guilty, her abdomen will swell and her thigh will waste away. Okay, tell me what thigh wasting away means. If it doesn't mean miscarriage, you took away the word miscarriage and you put thigh will waste away, which means absolutely nothing. It is nonsense. You can't make any sense of that. So what do you think it means? Tell me what you think her thigh will waste away means, because I'm dying to know. If it's not a miscarriage, then what the fuck is it? Because it doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't mean anything. How does a thigh waste away? Does she get I don't know, man. Did she have thick thighs and then her thighs got really thin or something? What are you talking about? This is so stupid. If she is innocent, she will then be free and conceive children. Two things stand out when you read the blessing with the curse. One, the blessing of future fertility suggests that the curse is barrenness, not miscarriage. Thank you. Yes. All right. So he picked up on that, and certainly not abortion. God, man. And then he just ruins it. We were almost there, man. We were almost there. Barrenness is horrible. This is horrible. I can't believe this. What are you talking about? The oppression on full display here. Wow, children were a blessing from the Lord, and barrenness was a curse. So the contrast between the curse in verse 27 and the promise of verse 28 makes perfect sense. 2, the woman would conceive children, suggesting that a child had not yet been conceived. Rather, conception would be a future blessing based on her innocence. Dude, what? No. The woman would conceive children, meaning she has a baby inside her, and it will... It's the same thing that King David did, where he tried to get his man, right, his soldier, to have sex with his wife so that it would look like she conceived his child, right? If the woman conceives a child after drinking, it just means that the miscarriage, that she didn't have a miscarriage. It went through, right? God, that the baby survived. Whatever. This is stupid. This understanding is consistent. Oh, we're done. Oh my God. Thank God. This understanding is consistent with the rest of... You got me praising the Lord over here, Alan. This is brutal. This understanding is consistent with the rest of Scripture and Christian theology. The Bible teaches it's wrong to kill innocent human beings. Really? Really? Does it? And routinely assumes It does not. Okay. Oh my God. How often in the Bible... Okay, by the way. Now, this goes back to the homework I gave you, reading the 1st and 2nd Samuel, 1st, 2nd Chronicles. There are passages in the Bible where God tells them that these Philistines or whatever tribe there are, close to them, Canaanites or whatever, they don't even circumcise their babies. They are filthy heathens and they must be eradicated. So God said, go into the city and slaughter them like animals. And not just the men, but the women and the children too. I'm not kidding. It's in there. You have to find. I mean, I'm recording a thing right now. I can't show you, but just trust me. Just look it up. It's there. Okay, so the Bible teaches it's wrong to kill innocent human. No, actually, God tells them to kill innocent human beings, and routinely assumes preborn humans are fully human with a full human nature. Right, but they can still be killed if their mother committed a sin, right? That's fine. Since we also know from science that the unborn are true human beings, there's no source cited there, interestingly enough. Killing the unborn would be killing a human being. Yeah, which God is in favor of, right? According to Scripture, that's wrong. Well, agree to disagree. Our understandings of Numbers 5:11 through 31 is consistent with that view. Dude, Alan, what are you doing, man? So you got other articles on here? I'm telling you, man, I am a shit seeker. I seek out this kind of pain. What? Invite Alan to speak. Speaking topic. Oh, he's a public speaker. Man, if he was speaking somewhere near me, I would so go. I'm not even kidding. I would go. Oh, he's only in California. Just because, wow. No. No. He's going to talk about Islam now. Alan, no. All right. Well, this was fun. I kind of wanted to see if he wrote any other articles. Usually on websites like this, you can find, other stuff that they've written. Is this? No, these are events. Yeah, I don't know. Huh. Maybe there's a hyperlink I'm missing or something. But anyway, that was fun. And I'm going to I got to do something to clear my mind. I don't know. Gonna go listen to music or something. I just moved into a new house, so I'm unpacking. That's what I'm gonna do. That's my therapy. Just God, it's so painful, isn't it? I mean, it's just so. It's just like the oppression just permeates into everything. Like it's that, but then it spreads into other things. I just can't. I'm at a loss. Okay, I'm at a loss. But anyway, this was fun. Until next time, take care.